Hey you, over here. I gotta let you know this information before I get caught.
Ex-hardcore gamer here, ready to tell you about the Chameleon. I went into playing the Chameleon totally blind, and I feel like that may be the best way for the players to do it as well, so I'm going to tell you as much as I can about it without spoiling too much. The Chameleon is a 32-bit style 1970 set stealth action game. The player is immediately thrown into the game where you have no idea what's going on, and everything is unveiled to you through picking up little notes and audio tapes that you find throughout the levels. The only thing immediately known to you is that you need to escape, and there are guards everywhere. Things are not quite as they seem, you're trying to escape, and there's just bizarre stuff happening everywhere. The game's namesake comes from the fact that early on, your first superpower that you unlock is the ability to morph into looking like one of the guards. I did say first superpower, so yes, you unlock others as you progress through the game. The basic progression that you're going to find is that you need to unlock doors to be able to get to new areas, unlock new superpowers, all while not getting caught. These superpowers at first may seem like you're trying to use them just to avoid combat or during it, but actually it can be used to do some light environmental puzzles as well. For example, you can get a super dash that can be used to go over large gaps to get to a new area. Activating any of these abilities will drain your energy. The biggest culprit is your super punch, which drains all of your energy, and you will not start recharging it for another 5 seconds. I definitely struggled early on while playing the Chameleon because I felt like that combat was not an option because of this, and I kept getting caught and the frustration built up. Thankfully, I was able to find that there are these purple orbs that you can find that give you more energy, and I realized that when you do the super punch, it's a one-hit kill. I'm not a huge stealth game guy, so to me, I'm more used to the style of a more modern game like Assassin's Creed, where if you get caught, you can still fight your way out. Unfortunately, with the Chameleon, it's actually once you get caught, you have a one-hit death. Once I wrap my head around this mechanic where I can actually sneak up on people and use the one-hit punch, the game immediately became much easier to me and the frustration went away. A nice little trick that I also found out is that if you take an enemy out and then you're caught, that previous enemy will still be flat out on the ground. So this makes it an easy way to kind of slowly go through the game and take on the enemies one by one until you get through to their next objective. Part of the reason why I never truly got into the stealth genre is that I would always hate that I'd be waiting around for the perfect time to strike and then would still fail and have to redo and re-wait all over again, and my patience would just wear thin. Fortunately, with this aspect of the Chameleon where the guys stay knocked out, I was able to avoid this trap in my patience and be able to keep going. Final pro tip, if you get to the terminal that unlocks a door and you get caught, you don't have to go to that terminal anymore because the door remains unlocked. I know this is a review video and not for tips and tricks, but these aspects to the gameplay actually help me get more into it and have a lot more fun. The big hook with the Chameleon is also its 32-bit style aesthetic. The game runs with an intentionally low resolution and has low polygon counts and pixelation. The pixelation can be turned up and down, but really, why would you want to make the game look better when it already has a low polygon count and blurry textures? These things normally would lead to you thinking that I'm talking about negative aspects to the game, but all of this is done intentionally to give it a nice throwback feel. I will admit though, it is a little strange to have things like clipping through walls and warping of textures, but then to still have the game run at 60 frames per second. I personally do not have as much love and nostalgia for this era of gaming. I find that early 3D is a little bit rough to go back to, but at the same time I can still appreciate what the developers were trying to achieve. Originally, while playing the Chameleon, I thought that there was no music. Even the title screen was just a bunch of ambient sound, and that's what I got while playing the game as well. Eventually, though, you do get to a point where there is music in the game, and then that even unlocks it to have it in the title screen. Something I've never really seen in a game before. The music was nothing special, but it was kind of cool how it doesn't happen until you get to a certain point. The sound effects, though, are definitely a more important point while playing because this is going to help you find out if you're going to be tracked or caught. While definitely a throwback-inspired title, the Chameleon has enough modern conveniences added to make it a more enjoyable title to play in 2021. Instead of throwing my PS1 wired controller in anger and frustration, I'm able to use my wireless Xbox One controller to be able to make progress in a game. I found that I could go through the game at a little bit of a slower pace, take out an enemy, and wait for my energy to come back to go on to the next one and continue to make progress. Maybe you will be the type of player that will just want to run through and get through as quickly as possible. Both ways are okay, and that's one thing I loved about the Chameleon, was that there's no one right way to get through something. Mileage may vary on the throwback aesthetic, but it definitely has its charm. I started this review not knowing anything about the game, quickly getting frustrated, but then immediately turning around and growing to love it. It won't be for everyone, but I definitely had a great time, and I hope that others will enjoy it as well. Thank you everybody for watching, and I want to take this time to thank our indie warriors. Mitchell Hall, Kevilo, Bunny, Bill Tcas, Christian Cruz, Strychnine, Rosie Syntax, Chris Jackson, Nathan Moore, Peach, Adriana Amato, CJR, Falco Lombardi, C. Coyle, Skeptism, Jen Rose, and Julian Kolbus. We cannot thank you enough for all your love and support and everything that you do for indie gaming and us here specifically at I Dream of Indie. If anybody else would like to join them and become an indie warrior, feel free to look in the description below for more information on that. And you can also click on the cool little links that we have on the screen for other ways that you can support us. Thanks again for watching. I hope this was helpful for you, and enjoy gaming.